Have you ever wondered what would happen if 2 pro players go up against 5 average Joes? Well, here we got a game, my friends. The other day, Hera reached out to me and said, yo, T90, there's 5 people who want to challenge us to a 2v5. Are you down? And I said, absolutely. And that's what we have here. I'm going to introduce the opponents here first. Now, I don't know who made the map on this side, but, maybe it was a collective effort, maybe just one of the players here. But it is a custom scenario, which is why my overlay looks a little bit different. And these guys clearly made a map that is good for them. There is stone and gold all around them. But to get into the introductions for the team of 5, we got Palmat here. Palmat around 750 elo. I'm going to put information for the players on the screen here as we intro them. In the teal, we have Gabadini. Gabadini around 1300 elo. I'm going off memory at this point, but the edits will be there. Playing as the Japanese. In the gray, we have Mr. Dan. Mr. Dan is playing as the Spanish in the middle position. In the yellow, we have a name I am going to struggle to say. Zevajaj? We got yellow. Playing as the Hindustanis. In the green, then, we have Ace Leviathan. And Ace Leviathan is playing as the Roman. So, again, 5 people here up against Hera and I. Here we have Hera. World number 1 in the blue, playing as the Saracens. And then I am here in the red, playing as the Spanish. It was free civilization pick for everybody here. So they had their choice. They've chosen their 5 civilizations they think can dominate. And again, this map is very good for them. There's lots of resources on this map. There's 194,000 gold, which is way more than a standard map. And a great deal of that is over here on their side. So, it was played on Explored, so Hera and I could actually see the majority of the map right now. And we were like, yo, what gives? You already got 5 people. What more do you need? Other thing which will end up being very important is the water on the sides, which everyone can use. And so, yeah, just Hera and I against 2 people. And they came in swinging. They came in swinging with the trash talk. A little bit of fun trash talk in the lobby. And really excited they invited me and really excited to be playing here. All right, so one final thing to mention here, because, this is 2 players against 5, is they did customize it so Hera and I could go to 400 total population, while their whole team is still stuck at 200 population each. Which means as a team, they can have 1,000 pop, and then our team, we could have 800 population. That's a pretty big deal. So we could essentially have bigger economies or bigger military count than your average game. Okay. So basically, Hera and I were thinking about what civs we can do. We only have 2. And initially, we had talked through options. I felt like a good siege civilization, like maybe Bohemians with bombard cannons and halbs, could be really strong. The thing was, is we felt like we wanted a siege civilization that had some mobility. And Saracens were thinking, could work there. Really strong camels. And we figured on the other side there was probably going to be paladins or something. Mamelukes, if the game allows it. And they also have solid siege as well. So that's why we opted for the Saracens here. And then I've gone for the Spanish. Spanish conquistadors are fantastic. They can go paladin later on as well. But then, the main thing in a team game is you get more trade per trip with the trade. So having Spanish in a team game is almost a no-brainer. The other team has it as well. And so my role here was to be the aggressor and give Hera time to boom, essentially. Now, a bit of an interesting situation here. So Hera decided to walk over here and dock because he didn't want me to have to protect my own fish, because I wanted to go fast castle here. So that's why he walked all the way over here. You can see, on the other side, Green, who started next to this, he's already docked, and he's already fishing. So this does actually set Hera's eco back. But there's tons of boars on this map, so, I think there's, 3 or 4 boars, depending on where you brought them in from. And so Hera didn't need the food necessarily to get Feudal Age, and we didn't know what they were going to do, but we were concerned that I would lose my fish. So Hera opting, at least initially, to kind of control the water, and then we only have one area to control instead of multiple, right? Now, I was trying to think, how these guys are going to approach it, and it was really tricky. I was doing some mental gymnastics. I had already walled up this area, and this area is obviously going to be exposed. Initially, I was thinking on walling with palisades through, just everywhere. But it proved to be a little too ambitious. I felt like that would just be a waste of villager time and a waste of resources. And then if they're making army, then, they're probably just going to break down those walls anyway. So if anything, we're going to just kind of adapt. In the description, by the way, I don't know if you want to click off now, but in the description will be my point of view from this, and then we'll get Hera's in there as well. You can hear our communication and whatnot, and maybe watch it from either perspective there too. Very important. Hera and I were discussing everything and came to some fun conclusions throughout, but I'll kind of break down kind of where we were at the time. Also, salute for whoever made this map for the little T90 here. I think it's hilarious, though, that I get, what is this? I get 22 tiles of gold, and then Hera gets 17. Like, they didn't, I guess they couldn't do HERA, because that would be too much gold? I don't know. Maybe it was bugged, but he definitely got scammed a little bit. I mean, there's gold everywhere, but still. So, Hera's going to open in Feudal Age here in a moment with some ships. I'm going Fast Castle. And on the other side, you can kind of see what their approach has been. We got walls from them. So, walls along the front, just in case we choose to go scouts or something. We got Gabadini with an archer range, hoping to go archers. Hera, I think, just pointing out the fact that maybe he saw some docks here. But I am going Fast Castle, and yeah, again, we really had to be attentive with our scouts on what the enemy was up to here. Could be really concerning if they were to come through. Like right now, Hera's trying to go for a building wall here, and he doesn't have loom. So if, like, even the enemy starting scouts work together, this could brutalize either of us, especially Hera right now, who's choosing to take the risk. But yeah, players bringing in boars, players building up their eco. At the bottom left, I'm going to try and keep this up as much as possible. You can see the total count of everything. Not sure why I have 6 idols right now. Don't look at that. But I saw the Feudal Age times that I knew there could be some pressure. So I, had to wall up a little bit here or there. So I'm not going to have any army. So here comes the first little attack. Now, from their perspective, they're probably trying to keep us open. So we cannot wall to be safe. Over here, Hera trying to wall this. Hera tries to quick wall. He's amazing. He loses the villager. Green also laughed. Green drops the 11. Enjoyed that one. Hera loses a villager here. Green also added a galley. And it seems like Green was maybe going to go full galleys to control this side, expecting Hera to be on water. But Hera was not on water in the end. Now, I'm still sitting here. Green just lost a scout underneath my TC, by the way. And I don't know if I have seen the first archer yet. But I remember noticing this. And I'm just thinking I need 650 stone to build a castle, and then maybe I'm okay from there. He did attack the house, but I noticed it before. And I was telling Hera to maybe bring his scout, that we could work on this together. What I didn't want is like to drop a tower. I didn't want to give this too much power. Over here, Hera's little water control headed over here towards where Gray and Purple have some fish. They don't have crazy amounts of fish, but 5 out of the 7 players in this game are now on the way to Castle Age. So we got a unique situation. They are protected. They are walled. And now this pressure's coming in. Now, if this was like 4 archers, it kind of changes everything because we don't have any army right now. And I felt like there might be more soon. And here comes 3 of them, actually. But Gabadini focused on walling up for the team. Also, maybe under a little pressure, right? Like being the one to attack both of us. And Green's being a little nerd over here with the scout. Really enjoying attacking Hera. And Hera gave him like very little respect there for a moment. And Green went in again and Hera was ready. I love it. That 1 archer and 1 spearman was never going to be enough to kill Vils. And so where am I going to build my castle? I'm going to build my castle here. So archers are on the way. That could be a little bit worrying, but I am Spanish. And Hera and I work together there with just our starting scouts. The spearman's dead. The archer's dead. Pretty good start for us. Over here, Hera as well has the fire galleys and is going to take control of the water. I say take control. Both these players are going to make some navy here. So, that's... It's not necessarily guaranteed. Yeah, my castle goes up. Teal wandering through here. And Teal didn't actually see the castle, which is surprising. And I'm going to have to deal with that. Hera is stonewalled over here. He's stonewalled over here. He's also going to be stonewalled here. And I just want to get rid of these archers so I could, you know, figure out my economy and whatnot. But the good news for us is we haven't taken any damage yet. The bad news is there's 5 people on the other side. And total populations, eco, everything's pretty close. So we're going to have to take some really good fights. And just boom up. Get a good push coming. Now, I mean, late game in some ways, like, because we can get to 800 pop, we can take this late. That's kind of nice about it. But at the same time, we don't really want them to be at 1,000 pop. And Hera's fire is kind of getting matched here by the repairs from Gray. And I was not concerned with any of this. I'm just adding fish. And, you know, these fishing ships are traveling pretty long distance, but it's enough to give me food to make some conchs. And enough to give me food to produce vills, as I'm going for TC number 2. And so is Hera right now. Okay, so now we kind of have to focus on my position. This is actually very difficult to cast. Everyone else's position as well. Purple's going to be in Castle Age soon. Teal is going to be in Castle Age in 2 minutes. Remember, this is the army player, so it's going to be harder for him to really manage things on his own right now. He didn't go for a stone gate here, which is a big mistake, so I'm going to be able to break through this wall fast with Hera and my Conquistadors. Yellow, though, has been told there's going to be support needed. We've got a castle going up in defense. We also have camels on the way. And those are Hindustani camels. And they attack very quickly. So, in we go, Hera and I. I do remember misclicking a house there, so my units kind of freeze up. And we forced a tower out of Teal. I do lose a Conquistador, but Conchs, like, do so much damage. So Conchs, there's a reason we wanted to go for Conquistadors here. And it does become tricky. Like, I'm microing a lot. And also trying to get my eco rolling. The good news, the great news for us, really, is that this is, like, essentially distracting 2 out of the 5 players. And then Hera could just boom. Like, that's what we want. Hera has done what he could to support me, so now my fish don't get killed. And now it's just Hera needs to boom like a madman. We have the market events on. You can see him, like, buying stone, buying wood. He's probably going to go for TCs and farms everywhere. But, you know, right now I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling amazing about the position. This is more damage than I was expecting to have at this point. I did add a petard because I thought I was going to need it for a stone wall. But it was just simply palisade walls, so we're through. Green over here. Green is expecting some pressure. Green's going to go for scorpions with the Romans. They have amazing scorpions. 2 TCs for him. Yellow, just 1 TC. You have Gray down here as well, who's on 4 town centers. Like, these guys are going to be in the game at some point. But for now, we're through. We're past their defenses. Now, again, apologies. I can't show, like, the total team populations right now because this is a scenario and it bugs out the casting program and changes things. But you can look at least the eco side of things right here at the bottom left. I'll have that up for a minute. So, like, Hera's at 55. Green's got 55 as well. You have Gray at 58. So the economies, there's 2 players that match Hera. Basically 2 players that match Hera and I, honestly. But there's 3 that are struggling. And so my Conquistadors have been able to accomplish a whole lot here. You want to hit multiple players with this. That's the dream. And that's the nightmare for them, obviously. That's the last thing that they want. Which is why they, you know, kind of prep the walls, I feel. Again, conchs are just so insane. Like, it's a unit that does so much damage and it's mobile. And when you've got a skill discrepancy, it obviously really helps me to be able to utilize that mobility, right? And so far, we've hit Teal, damaged Teal a bit. We haven't made it to Gray, but, you know, Yellow's been at least delayed. Green's been delayed, but Green's making a lot of Scorpions. So again, Hera's full boom right now. My Kong's still running through. Teal has chosen to go forward here, so Teal didn't come back to defend. Maybe wasn't expecting my Kongs to be over here. Panic time here for Gabadini. My Kong's still running around here. I was expecting some pressure, so I wanted to get the relic, and I wanted to have military towards the middle. Petard goes down, sad times. But Hera dropping TC number 5 now. Something he asked me, we kind of talked about during the games, is like, because we never play these settings. How many TCs do you add when it's 400 population? Hole! Disaster for purple. There's a hole. Man, guys, these conks have just done so much. I have 23 kills with a group of 6 units. I am just feasting. It is like Thanksgiving for me. Only I don't eat villagers for Thanksgiving. Just wanted to put that out there just in case you guys, took that literally or something. Green has a fish boom that's untouched, booming. Gray has been, gray seems to be maybe the key for them. But I've been able to get, loop those units around because of the hole. And now Gray has to damage control kind of last minute. He had these house walls set up, so he'd have this pocket of space. Meanwhile, it's kind of funny to see it now. And as Teal is still pushing my base. But, there were scorpions somewhere, right? And there's camels. And I think they traveled. Yeah, you could tell they traveled here, but now the house wall is kind of blocking them. So things have just been awkward for them. There's no other way to say it. But I still don't want to lose any ground here. And nice attack ground there from Gabadini. I don't want to lose any control towards the middle. This is where we're going to want Hera to be set up. Gabadini kills a deer. That was a bit of a misclick there. And then here, finally, things just caught up with me. Finally, I lose those conks. And he's got monks. He's got crossbows looking for kills. 2 of the monks go down. Mangonel lands a pretty decent shot. Again, decent trades for me right now. Let me look at this while I still can. We got 48 kills, 13 deaths. Oh, feeling peachy right now. I'm feeling good. But Hera told me, he's like, listen, I played a lot of these, and it feels like you're winning until you're not. Right? There's still 5 players on the other side, so didn't want to take it easy whatsoever. Conquistadors have done the work. Now, yellow and green are going to push forward with their teammate. It's taken some time, but everything they had, green's got to get these scorpions here. You could tell they're still, been commanded to come here from before. But I've got to work on holding this position. We get 2 conversions. We're still trying to boom, guys. I'm pretty proud of this. I would like to thank the fact that we had them on East US server and that auto farm exists because I am just auto farming and shared my opinions on auto farm many times now. That new feature, it's just so good. And it changes the game. If it's low ping, poof, the farms go burr. Hera, adding markets already. I'm going to do the same. We're thinking about trade right now. Green for the other team on the way to Imperial Age. 29 minutes into this game. We've taken some really nice trades. But that is a lot of Hindustani camels. That is a lot of crossbows. The micro from Teal takes out my monks. Decent micro there to dive underneath the shots. And now I'm beginning to get outnumbered. This is before the scorpions finally make it over here. I don't know where they are. It's kind of funny to watch how slow they are. This is before Gray comes into the game. Gray's just been, kind of booming. Not kind of. Is at 125 eco right now. And is actually sending some resources over to yellow. Now, they're probably on comms. They're probably talking, and I think one of them said, hey, open this up or build a gate here. And I now feel like, okay, I've done enough of harassed, and now it's about holding from this pressure. Now, because of the way trade carts work, it's funny, in the moment, if you watch my point of view, I needed clarification on how it works, even though it's one of those things that I've seen many times. I just don't play a lot of, big trade team games, but because of how trade carts work, what you can do is you can build, if you build one market next to your allies' markets, you can send the trade to that market, or they can send the trade to your market, depending on how you look at it. So I can send the trade here, and then my trade carts are going to go all the way to the furthest point from there. I think in this case, I send them here. Yeah, it gets the gold, and then it goes down here, right? So, I forget if the amount of gold changes. It doesn't change. You'll see. This is just a way to basically save yourself on a trip. I don't think I explained it properly, but that's kind of the idea here. My buildings are starting to go down. I never got to hold that relic for very long. There's a lot of army here. I'm on the way to Imp, but Hera is in Imp. And he's got a significant eco lead over everybody right now. 165 eco for him. And so Gonna be some big fights towards the middle. Green's finally coming forward with those scorpions. Remember, Romans have cheap scorpions. They're affected by ballistics. They're very strong. And scorpions wasn't something I was necessarily expecting from them. I was expecting them to pick Hindustanis. Hindustanis have Imperial Camel. You always want that. I don't mind Japanese. Japanese cav archers and halbs could be really good. The towers could be really good. Malay. Not really the best late game civilization, I have to say. But still, go for lots of archers or maybe even elephants here. Spanish are strong because they have conchs. That would basically match my conchs. Could also go paladin. But yes, we are starting the trade now. And Spanish also get more gold per trip. Now, I'm going to remove the market events because everyone's using the market at this point. It's just going to fill up our screen. But you know, Hera and I are starting to discuss on kind of what to do here. And I kind of seen everything, right? I've seen every type of unit out there. Now, this is something I'm, like, really proud of, guys. And, in fact, this is something that Hera and I discussed before the game even started. We of course, saw the map. And I told him that Spanish cannon galleons could be really strong. Because my thinking is if we, like, control the shoreline on both sides, it might be tough for them to trade. So Hera takes this engagement. And he loses a lot of his camels. Now, he had heavy camel. His opponent didn't. But those scorpions proved to be very, very strong. I'm just able to complete this castle. There's so much army now. We're going to switch to army to show that, you know, Hera is not in the top 3 right now in numbers. See the total army count. They've got way more. And, again, we're thinking, like, what on earth do we do against, like, the scorpions? Never mind everything else right now. And we've got castles towards the middle where they can take stone and golds. Lots of army. And so, I really felt like Onager would be a good play. And Hera's dropping the siege workshops. At a certain point, we discuss it, and we're like, let's go for SO, baby. Let's get some siege Onagers. Hera probably has crazy resources right now. Yeah, both of us have pretty decent resources. The other team's got decent resources. Yeah, Onager's on the way. We got to find a way to flatten these scorpions, and that's gonna be how we choose to do it. So Hera at 250 economy of a total of 400 population possible. I'm at 173 eco at a total of 400 population possible. Of course, I've got like 40 army as well. And they are coming forward and they are starting to push. And they want to break us. Now, I docked over here. Didn't cannon galleon yet, but spoilers, that's what I want to go for. And I'm docking over here, again, thinking that having the water could be useful. But it's starting to get very serious here, guys. It's time for us to face the music because they are ready. We've got siege rams. We've got scorpions with Romans. We've got camels from the Hindustanis. Not heavy camel yet, but they're about to be. And then could be imp camel later on, too. This is just a lot of pressure. Now, listen, Mr. Dan, if you watch Herai's point of view, you're going to hear what I said to him. I have said do not trickle treb 1,000 times over the past, 10 years or so. You might not have been around that whole time. But, bro, what are we doing? Showing up with 1 treb? Just a little wasteful. And I tried to get back into my gate here. This was a bit of a scary moment for us. But if showing up with 1 treb gave us time to react... Ooh, I forgot this happened. They had Relic Victory on. Hera and I were like, ooh, wait a second. Are they tricking us here? Is it actually Relic Victory? And they actually eject one of the relics. And we asked for clarification here. Hera 30 seconds away from SO. He's got these crazy Saracen camels. And again, we established he's got the eco to afford things. 270 eco. And so here we go. 2 versus 5. Big old battles coming. I've got bombard cannons for those scorpions over here. There's like, well, there were 20 or so scorpions, but now the scorpions are starting to get flattened. They've got conchs as well. They're also elite Conquistador. We've got cav archers that need upgrades, but could be useful. But Hera splatting the Imperial Camel here from yellow. And he's also going to get the splat there on the Conquistadors. So we need to move out. We need to push. I think if we wait, they're going to all get to 200 population, and then that's 200 more population than we can have as a whole. And they're like right next to our base right now. This is a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. Hera, though, in carry mode, 75 military. I'm just sitting at 40 right now. My main issue is I didn't have the castles to produce. Also didn't have one on a control group because I'm a noob. But we're starting to push back. And so what happens in these scenarios, right, is they are going to focus all of their attention on this, right? You've got, like, the whole team saying they need to stabilize this position, and then, like, it's going to be hard for them to coordinate the timings on when they take fights and whatnot. So you can kind of see how everyone's trying to come in at the same time. But they have to be close. They have to be careful, excuse me, with the siege onagers, because you could just lose your whole army in the blink of an eye if you don't pay attention. And Gray's like trying. We actually have Green as well in there, trying his best to to take out the siege onagers, but it's not working very well. And so just adding up the military count right now, Hera and I have got like 150. The other team's only at like 60 or so. So we started to snowball this pretty hard. And you know me, there's certain things I like to talk about, certain ways I like to address the game, right? And if you have control of one area, I always suggest you take control of what other areas you can in that time, because they are reeling right now. They are trying their best to stabilize. Upgrades that weren't in before finally coming in now, like Teal's Cav Archers are fully upgraded. But just back to what I said for a moment, Cannon Galleons. And Green noticed this. Green actually noticed this. Is going to try and go for Dramans, which Romans can do. But, you know, starting to range some of the buildings here, making life awkward for them. And the goal is to do that on both sides. So, Hera and I have our trade flowing. I'm at 200 eco total. He's at 272. Gray on their team is at 156. It might explain why he doesn't have that many conquistadors right now. And we've been able to separate them, pushing through the middle. About 160 army for the team. Now, Green, when you rewatch this, I hope you understand this is a compliment. You are super annoying, okay? He kept doing this. He kept running in trying to snipe the siege just to delay the push, which ends up being really, really important here because we have a lead. We want to make progress, but we can really only make progress if we have the siege. I mean, we have Hera's siege. We have siege onagers, but they're not as good against buildings. Though at this point, if you got like 30 of them, 40 of them, maybe it's something you can justify. I lost my Treb. I lost a cannon or two. I've got more cannons here. And the these siege onagers are just insane, man. And Gabadini doesn't know where to go. Gabadini, that's not the direction you want to go, though. You want to go home. I don't know what to suggest to you here, but don't run back here. He's finding it tough to engage. He's going to make a switch to Cavalier. I mean, it's tricky, right? You make a switch to Cav, and then what could happen is the Camels are there. So Camel Siege Onager seems really strong. Gray doing the same thing. Gray sniping off the reinforcements of Siege Onagers right now for Hera. And you notice I don't have the Bombard Cannon numbers. So we're kind of dwelling here, chilling here. Was able to take control of the water on the shoreline, though. Spanish Cannon Galleons are insanely strong. They fire so quickly. And Green is panicked. He's going to drop a castle here, here, and here. Because if we've got control of this area, we can land, potentially, right? It's a very big deal. And also have a couple Cannon Galleons over here. So we've got that area locked down. Slowly trying to push down Gray's castles. So what we haven't seen in a while is any real action from Palmat. Now, Palmat is the lowest ranked player here, but Teal could certainly use some support there. Green, seemingly struggling a little bit with what to make. Now, Scorpions is one of the best things you can do in late game with the Romans. The other option would be the Centurions, but that's pretty expensive, and I'm not really sure if the resources are there. Here's the stockpile. This is what players are banking up. And you can see Hera's got 102 on gold. I've got 78 on gold. So we're in a really good spot there. And so we're gonna be able to replenish any of the units that we lose. The other team's certainly under a little bit more stress. Now, what we have not seen from them is any like heavy siege of their own beyond the Scorpions. We haven't seen bombard cannons, which I think 4 out of the 5 civilizations here get. And we have not seen any like siege onager. Though none of their civilizations actually get siege onager, they would just get onager. So Hera gonna cut through the trees here. And the goal was for us to get into their trade. I wanted to get into their eco. You could tell they're preparing for us. There's actually no trade here, though, which, you know, Hera and I are a little surprised by when we eventually find that out, because... Oh, well, hold on. Hold on. He knows how much respect I have for him. But, we were teammates, and he didn't tell me this happened. Hera... What's going on here, bro? Just nukes 10 of his own units. You know, it makes a man feel good to see him make a mistake like that. That's funny. Well, I'm going to send my conks in, try and get into that eco, get into that trade. Gray's building a wonder. So again, I'm kind of thinking like, is this wonder victory now? Should I build a wonder? Because earlier they said it wasn't relic victory. They just kept it on standard. So... You know, especially since things were getting so desperate for them. We thought they might try the Wonder Victory. My Conquistadors are in. That Wonder still costs 3,000 resources and takes villager time. But Gray's got the resources to work with, clearly. Gray's going to drop castles everywhere here, too. Again, we really just lacked... if there's one thing we lacked right now, it was an ability to push castles. I have some bombard cannons here trying to do just that. So, Hera asked if Wonder Victory is allowed. We were unsure of that. They said it was just for fun. And I continue to have fun with conks in their eco. Over here, my cannon galleons are just, you know, on patrol, occasionally killing villagers and buildings. Green is seemingly prepared for an attack, though, with the castles. My conks are deep into Gray's eco. Purple's going to be here to support with some elephants. Purple lost the castle, though. Gray's castle's still kind of standing. Hera at 115 military and I'm at 85. We just have a very strong army right now. And like, the big thing is just how much population we can go for and how much eco we have. You wouldn't normally see 30 siege onagers for Hera. You might see like 5 to 10, but with all the resources to go around and then having the population for it, he's in a good position to be able to do this. My conk's still in here, by the way. Still getting damage. This group of conks that's left has had 50 kills. Not to mention the idle time and the armies that have collected in different areas. But guys, Green is a little sneaky guy. So Green walked over here and docked, which I was never expecting. And so my cannon galleon masterpiece is going to start to be a little trouble. And I wish I could tell you the total population right now. Can we pause real quick? We're going to quick math it. Now, Hardy is going to put the actual numbers later on. I'm not going to sit here and pause and really not, you know, make it clear how bad I am at math. But we're going to guesstimate, okay? So Hera's got 78 military. I've got 98 military. So let's say 180 pop there. Economically, I've got, let's just call that 600 there. Or no, 500 there. Okay, so Hera and I are at 700 population. What about their team? Collectively, their eco here? I want to say that that's at about like mid 400s. And then with their military, they're looking at about like 120. So we are actually out-popping them right now. I believe they're like close to 600 or so. Hardy will put the results on screen. But it's close. We've been able to match it at least. Or maybe be slightly above it, and obviously the results are showing. They have struggled, and man, oh man, it makes me happy to see my cannon galleons still doing work. But I was not happy when I get surprised by these fast fire ships from Green. So they've got to get something going here, otherwise they're going to be flattened. I mean, Gray has all these castles back here. Gray's villagers will be back to work after the Wonder. That was a bit of a flex. Gray switches to Paladin, which I don't think is a bad move per se, but camels and siege onagers still a worry. Romans can make bombard cannons. So that's something that another player is going to need to do here, but we have not seen that yet from Yellow. We have not seen it really from anyone, I think, except Palmat. I think Palmat had some bombard cannons here moments ago. Listen, when you're capped in population, but you've got endless resources, bombard towers are the way to go. They cost stone and gold. So, but I'm going to start to stack up these bombard towers here just to solidify our position even more. And they are ready to take a big engagement to stop this before this gets worse, because Hera's got Trebs now. Hera lands some nice attack rounds, and we've also got Mamelukes in the mix, so you've got a bit of a range from the Mamelukes to snipe the Paladins. Gray's trying to snipe the SO. He will get some. But look at this absolute death ball. We now have yellow, so this is a like 2 or 3 pronged attack from them. And Imperial Camels really strong against my conks if they can get in close, but I think everyone just really scared of Hera Siege Onagers right now. Like, this ball can flatten your entire army if you're not careful. It doesn't matter if it's a cab unit, infantry unit, siege unit. Siege Onagers are just that powerful. Hera deep now into this eco. Over here, I'm losing some Conquistadors. The Imp Camels are very strong, but Hera will take out this castle, and we are very close to where that trade route will be. And they might have more gold on the map, but they need the trade. Also, I did lose my cannon galleons, but I was able to sneak a transport down here. So, you know, I was a little bothered by the fact that he decided to take out my cannon galleons. I'm going to have to go for galleon here. But anyways, this is an important position for me to gain. Because the middle, I just lost a lot of population. Hera is now and just an unstoppable force. The Siege Onagers will flatten most that comes his way. What they really need is a way to disrupt Hera and distract Hera. Because, you know, Hera and I have had the focus where we want it, essentially, right? And they haven't been able to do that. Now, Green noticed me here. But back to what I just said. Nice little distraction, right? Green's going to have to deal with this, respect this. And Green may not be able to support the team. Now, I don't even know what to suggest to them at this point. I like the bombard cannons from Gray. That's a great move. That's going to be their best option to flatten these onagers. We also have Palmat. Palmat's going to try and go Pal here on the siege onagers and the Trebs. So they're mixing in their own heavy siege. But Hera has so many siege onagers here. Plus there's Mamelukes, which is just the perfect unit now. I think, like, opening Mamelukes probably pretty tricky because you need the castles, but at this stage it's a good move. And my bombard towers only have 7 kills here, but it's just an extra little bit of resistance. Another reason for them to lose the fight. Again, we are exactly where their trade should be right now. 160 military for Hera and I. So, I was concerned right now that Green could potentially go through. Now, Hera did wall this, but you never know. I thought, like, maybe a transport. I needed a castle there for protection. Hera still dominating. Massive score lead. 880 kills. We are seemingly unstoppable right now. They need to break this position. Look at the castles Hera has. They need to break this position. We've got, like, a dozen castles between us, plus the bombard towers. And that's the production point. That is where the Mamelukes are being spawned from. And they need an engagement here. Cavalier here from Gabadini moving in. Sniping some of the siege onagers. It's no longer 30 siege onagers for Hera. He's going to be down to like 4 or 5. And Green, he doesn't trickle trap. But he runs right into siege onagers with his traps. And he didn't even take out the tower, unfortunately for him. I think it was a little distracted, though. He made a move for my stables. The paladins were being masked up. Sometimes when you see the flag, you don't know what's in there, right? He probably thought it was just 4 or 5 stables. I had like 30 paladins ready. And now I've also got Navy on patrol because I will not. I just refuse to give up the water's edge there. Hera's Trebs have taken out a lot of buildings here. But he doesn't have the siege onagers anymore. So that's something that he's going to have to worry about. Purple adding the first trade cart. It's the saddest trade cart you'll see this game. But it's just a reminder of how important the trade is. Hera waltzing forward with another castle. I'm waltzing forward with another castle. Heavy progress being made through the middle. Did you see Yellow's split micro? Oh, baby. Woo! Let's go, Yellow. That's funny. These things you don't notice when you're playing. Hera probably didn't even know he lost those siege onagers. I have supremacy at this point, so my villagers are really tanky with the Spanish, which is just another reason the Spanish are so nice. Here's the Wonder, by the way. Spanish Wonder looks really cool. We'll give you some style points for that, Gray. We've been able to do a lot of damage here with the landing. The bombard towers have helped hold that position for us. And there's just lots of exposed eco everywhere before our navy even comes in to help out. 100 population for Hera, 87 population for myself. That's the, our highest military count right now in a while. I don't think we ever crossed 200 as a whole. We might be about to. And the top military count for their team is 25 for Yellow, who now needs to focus everything over here. I mean, they've needed to do it for a while. Just doesn't feel like they really have enough. There is Elite Battle Elephant right now for Palmat. But Gray now doesn't really have the resources to work with. I want to show their stockpiles real quick. They're at the limit. Like, Yellow's got a lot of food, but doesn't really have the golds. There's a lot of gold for purple, but not really the food. Yellow did come over here now. And the Wonder is going to crash. And Gray just dropped the Wonder no taunt. Which is amazing. And obviously I'm going to have to show this. It's pretty sick that we had it in the first place. And Hera's going to eventually target this bad boy. But Wonder's going to go down. They are in a really tough position. We are now 210 total population. Here goes the Wonder, the beautiful Wonder. Repair villager at the last second doesn't save it. God, I love Wonders crashing down. Especially when it's enemy Wonders. I'm somehow not as big a fan of my own Wonders going down. I'm not sure why that is. But yeah, Wonder doesn't work out for them. And they're probably just sitting here. Like, come on, there's 5 of us. Like, how have we not made this happen? But we have gone straight through the heart. And honestly, Gray was one of their best players as well. Maybe Gray got into such a good position because Gray didn't get harassed as much early, right? And Gray was fairly safe, but that Gray, definitely one of the best players on the squad. Not the best player on the squad, though. And I'm not going to say who the best player in the squad was because I like the idea of the 5 of them debating on it being them, just a little bit of subtle mental warfare in case there's a rematch, If there's a rematch, they might be like, start to argue, well, see, this is why I'm the best player, when things start to go right or wrong. I've got problems, man. I've got problems. But Navy's not one of them. 99 problems, but cannon galleons aren't one. So we lose the stables now, but now we've got the shoreline, right? And Hera making his move towards Gray. What's left of Gray, and then what exists for Yellow. And the GGs are called. See, I know it probably seemed inevitable for you guys for a minute here. Hera and I just had too much on the field here. How much gold is left? Only 30,000 gold remaining, which is pretty crazy. It was over 200,000 when we started. And Yellow drops the don't resign. I guess Yellow's thinking maybe one last fight. Gray might be thinking the same. I think Gray is going to give Hera a big old splat here at this point. These guys are viewers of ours, and with that being the case, they know what the people like. They're all about the content. We appreciate you. I love the farm there too, dude. Honestly, I mean, Hera seems a little taken back by this. Especially the farms. But yeah, it's a slaughter. The villagers won't make it. He might kill one siege onager if he's lucky. Hera getting fed kills here. I'm feeding on Palmat, who's still in the game as well. And I think at some point I get spies here. Like, do we have it right now? I don't have it. So spies is based on villager count. So, seeing as it's based on villager count, I should be able to afford spies here. There's not many villagers remaining for them. I actually didn't realize in the game how long they had played. Or how many people had resigned, but finally we have the GG call. I feel like I remember Hera killing some of his own units once the GG was called. Did I miss that? Ah, okay. Yeah, so once the GG was called, Hera wanted to boost his kills, and it will count as a kill for you. It'll count as a death as well. And Hera, I was wondering why his military count was so low, just went bop and loses most of his Mamelukes there. But yeah, game ends, and Hera and I were able to get the job done. Now, a couple things here. I've actually got quite a lot to say about this. You want to think what went wrong for them? Well, I think if you're up against two pros, you got to go for stonewalls. The fact that I broke through a palisade gate was an issue here. I got through way too easily, considering there's 5 players on the other side, and one of them could have stonewalled. So that's like the big thing. I think allowing me through was their biggest mistake. That is genuinely the biggest thing. This should have never happened, or at least I should have had to work a little bit harder. Now, yes, I added petards, right? But maybe I would have needed 2. Maybe they could have walled behind. I think most likely what happened was Gabadini thought, oh, we're walled and we're good, and then realized, oh, crap, once I broke through. So it probably just wasn't something they were really thinking of until it was too late. So that was kind of the biggest thing for us here. Another thing I think Hera and I really benefited from was the composition and the type of army we made. There was an extreme lack of bomber cannons on their side or heavy siege civs. And Hera and I kind of speculated as to why that was, but I think it's just because you don't see people get the most from heavy siege at the ranks these players are. Sure, they're very good players, but they needed some more firepower. And I think, as sad as it is to hear, for all you Scorpion lovers out there, I think Scorpions were just really not the play. One siege onager and bomber cannon was out. I think the Scorpions probably lost more than they killed. We have a way to confirm that. But I think they needed stone walls. I think they needed heavy siege. So maybe pick a civilization like Celts. Maybe go for Saracens themselves. Maybe go for Bohemians. They needed more siege. And then I think this game is a lot different. Now, the other thing to keep in mind, Hera and I did have 400 total population on our side. So I think this game is way harder if Hera and I have to rely on our own eco and then go for military. Because the military, the army high is just basically double what we would have had otherwise, right? And of course, the eco, probably the case as well. Hera, 280k resources collected. I had 223 resources collected. I mean, Hera's collected more resources than 3 of these players combined. And then I collected, well, more than the other 2. Yeah, depending on how you look at it. Yeah, we'll see the totals. Hardy's going to love all the math on screen, but the res collected there should show that Hera and I collected more than them. And that was just something that the 400 population setting allowed. They probably did that because they felt like 2 versus 5 would lead to being really difficult for us. But we were able to get the job done. So I don't know what's going to happen from this, guys. I don't know if there's going to be a rematch from these 5, if they're going to game plan and they're going to say, hey, we're going to tweak this and that. I probably shouldn't have given the tips that I did because they may take some of those tips. But, I'd be down for a rematch as long as you, the viewer, would be interested in more content like this too. I'm glad I was reached out to about this because I've been thinking about doing some commentary of 1v3s, 1v4s, things like that. We got this old video of Noobs versus Pro. The graphics are pretty bad. The ending was one of the best endings ever. I'm just going to have that in the description if you want to watch more. But that was when MBL, a pro player, went up against regular players in community games. And it was just fantastic. So leave a comment if you enjoyed this. Leave a like, of course, as well. Always helps. And thanks to Hera. Thanks to these 5 for getting me involved. Again, if you want to watch either Hera or I's point of view, it is going to be in the description of this video. You can check that out too. And we'll definitely try and incorporate this more as long as people want it. That is it for me. Also, special shout out to Hardy for all the math in this video. Hardy, I know that you probably didn't enjoy that. Maybe you did. I don't know. But yeah, thanks for mathing for us, bro. And I'll see you guys in the next video.